Good evening, guys. It's Mustang Lover 1970 here. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the good things and the bad things of owning a classic car. So let's get to it. I hope you all enjoy the video. Please like, subscribe, share. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. The first good thing about owning a classic car is the simplicity. Their simplicity is so good versus the modern cars. The modern cars have too much stuff in their engine bays just to keep the engine running. Back then, engines only ran on three vital components: points and condenser, a carburetor, and a fuel pump, which was all powered mechanically by the engine, no computers or anything. So if your alternator ever died in a classic car, you wouldn't have to worry too much about it if you didn't shut the engine off, because all that's going to keep that engine running is the distributor rotating and the carburetor pushing fuel into the intake. That's the good thing. So when your modern car, like what happened to me, I own a 2001 Ford Mustang, which of course is powered by fuel injectors and a computer system to keep the engine working. So when my alternator dies, my battery loses power. Battery loses power, it cuts the fuel injectors, the ignition system. Actually, there's no distributor on my new Mustang, and technically after that, you're in some major havoc trouble. So usually what happens is when you have a classic car, you just don't, when you notice the alternator's going bad, don't shut the engine off. Go take it somewhere, take it home, whatever. It's better than having to get a tow truck. It sucks having to get a tow truck. And also that brings up the question too, which some people ask, when I test my alternator on my car, why can't I unplug the negative terminal? Well, usually you can do that in classic cars. That's what people used to do in the, 60s and 70s and stuff like that, to test if the alternator was good. Charging your battery, that's the same thing. But if you do that to a modern car, you're going to screw up your computer. You're probably going to fry up the alternator if it's good. Maybe, most likely fry some other things you really don't want to fry. And it's just going to be a big catastrophe and a money pit that you never want to get sucked in. When the alternator dies on a classic car, as I said before, the engine will stay running. So therefore, that's one of the good things about it, because you're running it on three main components. So you can get home, do whatever you want to do, as long as you don't shut the engine off. If you shut the engine off, expect to get the AAA number out anytime soon. So that being said, here goes one of the bad things about a classic car. Bad things about a classic car is they're harder to tune with the original engine. The reason I say that is because the carburetor and the distributor are all, timed together. They work together. So there's going to be, if you put on a supercharger, or you're going to put on some, maybe my 6-cylinder straight six Mustang has a single barrel carburetor. If you put a 4-barrel carburetor on, it's probably going to give too much gas, which therefore is going to end up frying my spark plugs a lot faster and maybe causing some corrosion of some sort. I don't know. I'm just saying what I've been told here. So when you supercharge or turbocharge or put any sort of crazy modification on a modern car, it's a lot better, because you can just plug in a tuner. When you plug in the tuner, you can, set everything to work with that certain modification you put on. When you do that to a classic car, classic cars aren't really compatible with a tuner, because you usually have to use your UB something port to plug in the tuner. But OBD2, that's what it's called. So it's not really an easy thing to do a tune on a classic car. Can you put a turbo on a classic car? Absolutely. But at the same time, it's going to be kind of a headache, and it probably would wear out your engine faster, or it probably wouldn't really wear out your engine. Your engine just won't run right, period, because something is not going to be set up right. So that's one of the things bad about classic cars, is you can't really play around with their engine. If I suggest you want the classic body style and you want to tune the crap out of your classic car, I suggest putting a modern 5-liter Coyote, or if you have a Chevy, an LS engine in there, because you can, play with the stuff they have today versus having the stock straight 6 or the 350 V8 that you're going to have to put a ton of money into just to get it to work with the modifications you want. So here's another good thing about the classic car is that the insurance. Okay, you're probably thinking usually, oh man, I want this 1969 Mustang Mach 1. The insurance is going to be an arm and a leg. You're right about that. It is going to be an arm and a leg for like a Mach 1 Boss 429, or in the Chevy world, like the Yenko, the SS is going to be more than the base model of anything. Because right now my Mustang is a base model. The 67 I have is a base model. And the good thing about it is that I only have to pay $134 a month. I mean, a year. My bad. I don't mean a month. A year to keep that car insured. That means I only have to pay roughly like $12 a month just to have that car insured. Big deal. It's sitting under my carport all the time anyways, so I barely use the car. But then again, it's a real reasonable price for new drivers like me. I just got my license and stuff like that. So having a base model Mustang, Camaro, anything would be great. Now, if you have a car that is less popular, like the Super Beetle, Volkswagen Beetle, or the Gremlin, you're not going to really have to pay much because that car isn't really worth nothing in the first place. But with the Gremlin, you could get the Gremlin with the straight six. But if your insurance won't be so radically high with the Gremlin, you could probably afford a Gremlin X with an 8-cylinder because Gremlins are really basically worth nothing. No offense to you Gremlin owners out there. I love the AMC Gremlin, but just letting you guys know that if you're wanting a Camaro or something as popular as a Camaro and a Mustang in the higher volume range of popularity of cars, you're going to be paying more for insurance the more higher you go up with the value of the car. Like if you get a Shelby, of course, it's going to be a lot higher price than a V6 Mustang. Common sense. I mean, the parts are more expensive. So like my straight six Mustang, the insurance is really not that bad, guys. It's really amazing what I'm paying for my insurance for my car. So the insurance is great for classic cars. Use Hagerty Insurance because where I live, people are driving classic cars day and night because they're affordable over here. You can pay only $130 a month just to keep a year. My bad, just to keep your car running. It's nothing major. You're paying nothing to have a piece of American history, let's just say that. With the insurance too is that what you put on your car. If you end up, as I said before, like putting a Coyote V8 in an older Mustang, yeah, your insurance is going to start going up and up and up and up and up because you're putting more value towards the car. If I went with my 67 and made it, let's say, with the 5-liter Coyote V8 and the 5-speed manual transmission or something, my insurance is going to go a lot higher because right now I have the stock setup in that car and it's running fine. So that's just the thought to keep the insurance down. Just keep the car original. Exhaust, if you put a new exhaust on there, the insurance is not going to affect anything. Don't worry about stuff like that. It's just stuff that you're replacing that's going to start costing you money. That's really what it basically is what I'm trying to tell you is that more modifications you put on, it's just probably going to be more expensive. Or if you put on some certain part, like if I took a V6 Mustang right now and supercharged it, the insurance is probably going to go higher. Let's just say that. All right, ending this video, I'm going to talk about one last bad thing about the classic car. When you buy a classic car, make sure you do not get a Hulk of Rust, guys. It is the worst decision you can ever make is buying a Hulk of Rust. My Mustang has rust. We all been there. We all fixed it, and now we're enjoying our cars. But if you're beginning at this and you're buying like a base model Camaro or Mustang, it's probably not worth it because if you have a bunch of rust, my Mustang is probably worth around $5,000 to be honest because it's a 6-cylinder. You're not going to get much out of a 6-cylinder, but that's why people buy a bunch of 6-cylinder cars because they're cheaper anyways. But it's the rust. You're going to end up spending more money replacing your rust, exchanging out the parts that have rusted out for new metal and all that stuff. And it's just going to be a big mess. You're going to end up spending more money than the car is worth. And on top of that, you're probably going to have to fix other things like your engine parts are going to probably have to be replaced. Brakes are going to have to be replaced. It's not fun, guys, when you buy something rusty. Make sure when you buy a classic car, it has a solid frame. Surface rust is not bad. But if your floor pan has gone bad, make sure that parts are available for it. Because a floor pan isn't really that bad. It's more important when the frame or the subframe is rusting on the car. Because that is very vital towards the car. Because if you replace that frame, you're going to expect some flexing in the body. And that is not really that good either. So just keep that in mind, guys. So I hope you all enjoyed this video about my opinion on owning a classic car. I hope this all helped you out. If you guys have any questions whatsoever, please let me know, and I'll be happy to respond to you guys anytime. So thank you, guys. Have a good Christmas, and yeah, out.